Hey folks, how's it going? So, today's video is about a Christmas present. What happened was, well, let me get the whole story to you. So, last year my dad passed away, and when he had passed away, we were over at his place looking at all the different things that, were still remaining from him. And so we were asking everybody in the family as to if there was anything that they were interested in. Now, my niece has a boyfriend. His name is Elijah, and a very quiet fellow, very subdued, right? The best way to explain it. And he doesn't say a lot, right? And just very quiet and does his thing, but a very pleasant human being. Now, as we were looking around, one of the things that he saw that he thought he would like was something that my dad made. So I'm going to show you what that is and then explain that to you. And that's this. See, that's called intarsia, and that is a picture of Jesus that my dad made for my mother. Now, when they were asking what we'd like, Elijah said he would like that. Now, unfortunately, it had already been planned that we were going to be taking that to the church. My mother already wanted that to go to the local church by here. And that's not a problem. That was not an issue. And, of course, Elijah, being the person he is, he was just like, okay, fine, not a problem. But it stuck in my head. And so Christmas is coming, and I thought to myself, I'm going to try my best with my styrofoam to kind of replicate the same thing for Elijah. And that's what I did. I decided to sit down and got it all worked out and got my styrofoam, and I made Jesus out of styrofoam. And I think it turned out pretty cool. And Elijah's response was great. Again, it was Elijah's response. It was like, thank you, and it was great. And I loved it. And it made me happy, right? So, as I said, I was giving it to him. I said, this present wasn't just from me, but also from my father, who was the first creator of the actual piece, intarsia. Now, I have to truly respect what my dad did there, because that is all separate little pieces of wood, right? Now you'll see what I do with styrofoam. It's cool. It's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's mind-boggling to me how much work my father put together to make that piece right there. It is really cool. So you're going to sit back and watch the video on how I made Jesus with styrofoam. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Do all those things you're supposed to do. Thumbs up, bell for notification, subscribe. I would love that. And there you are. So sit back and enjoy, watch it being made, and then watch it being presented to Elijah, which we also had some video problems there too, but don't worry about it, guys. It'll all come across, I hope. Anyways, thank you. Okay, so I'm sorry if you can't see all of it, but it's a fairly large piece, and my little stand here doesn't go up all the way, so I could make it go up higher, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the background right now, because Jesus is going to be the foreground of the actual picture. So I'm going to take that out, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to concentrate on the actual Jesus part of it and that, and then I'm going to just pick that up, right? But then I can literally from here, which I can actually move this up a little bit and that so you can see it, but I should be able to now cut that all out, and then I'll work my background. So I've got all my measurements all figured out on this. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do right now, is just cut that out and start drawing it in too, and then I'll start working on every part of it that way. Yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. All right, cool. Okay, I have cut out Jesus. I now have my template here, right? And the rest will be using a pencil probably, or a pen, and just actually doing out all the actual lines. And then after that's finished, then I can start to actually cut them and then push to make that nice texture. Hopefully that's going to work. All right, let's get going. Okay, so now I've actually grooved that all in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take, oh, by the way, I used a pen, not a pencil, because I found that pencil sometimes, just the way you're working with it, might cut into it a little bit, and the ball rolls a little bit with the pen. So just something to remember. Anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over this now, little bit by bit, and try to groove in. Then I'm going to take the blade and I'm going to do a thin cut line, just a thin cut line. And then I'll take the ball and push it in so I can get that nice sense of depth in that. The nice part for me is it's going to be actually a little easier than what my dad did when he actually made this the intarsia style, because that's the wood actually going in, and you actually have to sand every piece. I can sand this. I'm just going to round it out a little bit, but all those little intricate pieces I don't have to worry about, and they're going to be done by the illusion of looking like there's depth. So kind of works out for me. So I did sand off the sides. The other thing too is, if you can see now, you can see the impression, and I did embellish a little bit more. I like the idea of having a little more texture in the beard and that, so I added that into it. But beyond that, everything else is pretty much the same way. It's incredible to look at what my father had done and how much work it took. And I'm doing this in a different way, but it's actually a lot faster, I think. At this point, it feels like it's a lot faster than what Dad had done. But it definitely is going the direction I want, so I'm happy. And now what I'm going to do, as I said, I'm going to take and actually cut into the styrofoam itself, but very lightly. Very, very lightly. And the reason being is that when I take a round situation and push in on it, it's going to give me a little bit more depth, but just enough to give that look that what we're looking for. Okay, so there we are. Okay, so you saw where I took a little bit of the blade and I cut into it a little bit. Then I took this baller, right, which you use for sculpting and stuff like that, and basically just ran along like that, and it just kind of kept giving that nice groove, so it'll look that way for the whole thing. And then I take a pen maybe or something, just lightly pull in, right? And that'll just give you a little extra line, right? You don't want to go too much, but as you can see, I'm now starting to get that depth that I want. So I'm just gonna have to go over the whole thing like that. So yeah, let's get her done. So as you can see here, I've actually added texture to the hair, and I'm gonna do the same with the material itself by simply doing like a light scratch. But with the hair, I actually made a little deeper scratch and a little more hair direction. But just kind of to give a little bit, because the actual piece that my dad did is in wood, right? And this is all done in styro, so to kind of give it a little bit more of a wood texture, I'm just gonna go like a little scratchy, just on the top parts. And then that way it'll again give it a little bit more of a wood feel to it. There you are, simple. So I've textured as much as I can here. I'll kind of bring it up close to you guys, maybe you can see it a little better there. But you see how the texture's going there? So I've done all that. If you want to know what kind of an expensive texture tool I used a paintbrush. Yeah, I also have the baller I use too, or a big pen. Right? So you don't need a lot of fancy tools for this type of thing. So there you are. The next part is to make the background, and then go from there with the painting aspect of it. This is where I'm a little bit of a dilemma. I'm not sure where I'm going to go with that. So there you are. So I've now made my lines for the background. So this will come away, and then I'm going to start that part. Shouldn't be all that interesting, so maybe I won't even film that part because it just kind of looks a little straightforward. But then again, who knows? Maybe I will film it. I don't know. I'll think about it in 2 seconds. Okay, I've done the texture. I'm pretty happy with what I see. A couple little things that need to be done, but nothing overly dramatic. And I'm going to do I think I'm going to do a black wash on it, and then go from there. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. All right, so I'm just going to take and do like a wash, just a black wash on top. Basically so it'll make it a little easier for me to be able to see what's going on and then see how much depth I want in this overall piece, right? But colors are going to come up next on that, so should be interesting because I'm going to try to give it that kind of a wood look about it, but I don't know if that's actually going to be the case. No. But at this point here, this way I can kind of get an idea of, you know, do I need to push any more lines down or anything like that, just to make sure that I got kind of all the indentations. Because nothing's worse than you look at one area and it's not exactly right on the money as to what you want it. So like I said, I'm just doing this and it brings it out pretty easily for me to be able to see, right? And then yeah, see I can see the details in the eyes and stuff like that, right? And then if I take some paper towel and I just simply wipe away, right? You should be able to see, look, there we are. So we're seeing things just a little bit better, right? And that'll be helpful, right? Just in the overall as to what I want to do with this. Okay, so there you are. Okay, so after doing the wash, you can actually see the progression that I've had, and you can now see that the lines are good, stuff like that. I might go over a few little areas again, but I think that's also simply because I didn't get enough darkness in there with the brush. Probably that's all it is, because those lines look good. I mean, here I can kind of, let's see if we can, right there, I thought there was, yeah, see? And put a little bit of stain in there, and then I kind of wipe it away. Yeah, see, you can see the lines are looking good, so I'm happy with it. So there you are, and on to the next part. I'm gonna go and actually check to see some other paints that I might be able to use, simply because I don't know if I'm gonna get what I want, but I'm gonna give it a try. All right, I've already changed my mind. I'm gonna just keep doing some washes and do a couple of layers of washes until I really get that depth in behind there, and then I'm going to start to highlight it so it has that wood look about it, hopefully. That's where I'm going to go with it, okay? So there you are. Something else I wanted to bring up was the fact that why am I doing it with the black acrylic paint and maybe not a stain? I think a stain would actually eat the foam itself. So that's why I'm not going to go that way. And again, it's something that's kind of got like a jelly kind of a bit to it, like when you're doing the paint, nothing that's too flat. So that way when you keep wiping, it keeps showing up the lines better and better. Okay, so I just thought I'd mention that. I've been kind of playing around with it a little bit here, trying to see to myself, like, you know, what I came to realize is that I need to go really dark first and then start to highlight it. I was playing around with it on this side. I knew that I would be able to go over it again if I needed to. So yeah, you're gonna darken that right up and then slowly work the brighter colors in. And then we'll put the Jesus on top, and then I'm also going to do the framing too. There's going to be framing so it pops out too. So there we are. A little tip here. When I'm doing the framing for the outside of the Jesus, what I was going to say is when you're doing the dry brushing, you might have to do it several times to really get that technique that you want. So what I'll do is I'll dry brush it, let it dry, then I'll even rework the grooves too sometimes, and then do it again, dry brush it until I get what I want. So it can't always just be like the first coat. All right, so just be aware of that. Okay, so I have added some colors onto the Jesus. Now what I've done here is I'm going to make a slurry. I'm going to add quite a bit of water and make a slurry of black so that I can go back over it, and that'll pull up the lines on stuff. And so I think that'll work. So I'm going to say I'm going to go like this. And you see like that. I'm just actually just going over. And then once I get to a point, I'll let it dry a little bit and then wipe. And that should give me the depth that I want. And then the different colors will come out. It should look pretty good, I hope. Anyway, here we go. We'll just see how it goes. Alright. Well, I think it's time to apply some glue and get it all put together. I think I'm pretty much where I'm at. I think I like what I'm seeing. So there you are, ready to go. Okay, glue time. Well, all I can say is that I'm so glad that this glue dries clear, because gluing is not my forte. But I have a few little tiny issues, but they're not bad. I'm not going to worry too much about it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off camera and actually lay some books on it so that it'll be nice and flat. You notice there's a little bit of bumping up and stuff like that. So I think when I get it flat, it should be good. All right.
That's really good.
Thank you. I just thought, because you'd asked about it and then I knew that you couldn't get it, then I thought, well, I can make a mini version of it for you.
That is so crazy.
Cool.
Aww.
How long does it take you?
I hate to say it, about a day and a half.
Oh my god. Really good.
It was pretty quick.
Yeah, you know what it was? Because we planned it out so well that it was like, okay, boom, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, paint, boom, everything.
It looks like wood though. I screwed up. I meant to do video. I did photo instead.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks,
problem.
Uncle Paul. That's really good. How would we hang this?
Hmm?
How would we hang this?
See, no, I can't even do it. Okay. So, anyways, this gift is not only from me, it's also from my father. And this is what I'm giving you.
Thank you.
No, you have to delete that.
So there you are. Jesus in Styrofoam. I think it worked out. Elijah seemed to be happy. Everybody seemed to enjoy it. Everybody said, oh my gosh, I can't believe that that's actually Styrofoam. It looks like wood. And that was basically what I was trying to put across. And I think I did a pretty darn good job. So, pat myself on the back. Thanks for watching. And as I always say, be cool like a big bull moose. And remember to wear your pants.